let's talk about the final two Barbarian subclasses. Welcome to the Attic Dungeon. My name is Sam, and whether you're too angry to die or a magical fairy barbarian, I'm here to help you with everything. There we are again. Shameless self-promotion time. Let's keep it short and simple. If you like what I'm doing, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, ring the bell, whatever, send me all your money. I don't care, just endorse me. But what's more important, I'm still organizing a Dungeons and Dragons festival in Belgium next year on the 25th of March. So if you would like tickets for that, and there is no reason why you wouldn't like tickets for it, you can order them through the link down below. We'll have sessions to play, workshops to follow, food to eat and drinks to drink, and people to meet. Isn't that sometimes the best about it? Anyway, I want to see you on Day of Dungeons in March. So yes, we're here to complete my Ultimate Barbarian guide by talking about the last two subclasses. When this is done, everything Barbarian related that I do will appear in one playlist, which will suit all your Barbie needs. Two subclasses left, the path of the Zealot and the path of the Wild Magic. Both paths are decent. I don't think in my past two videos there was always one path that was like, this one's a bit of crap. These are both okay, and I think even fun to play. It's Barbarian subclasses. You still get stuff at level 3, 6, 10 and 14. It's still almost always combat oriented, with one exception maybe here or there, one utility ability that you're gaining. It's the Barbarian class. I'm still waiting for the day where they give that class some decent utility as well. Anyway, let's start with our Divine Zealot Barbarians. So they're kind of religious warriors. They are religious barbarians that go to the utter end for their god, period. They get angry at the world because their god wants them to get angry, and then they don't stop getting angry even if they should be dead actually. But what do you gain as a Divine Zealot Barbarian? It starts with Divine Fury, a very cool ability that is very simple. When you hit your first enemy every turn, it will take extra damage equal to 1d6 plus half your Barbarian level. The damage is either necrotic or radiant, you choose. So this starts out at 1d6 plus 1 at level 3, but by level 20, hypothetically, you're hitting 1d6 plus 10 for free. That's basically an extra attack at that point. So even before, once you hit like 1d6 plus 3 or whatever, you're doing a free extra attack on top of whatever you're doing. Don't forget, if you critical hit, this d6 will also double. Don't forget, this says the first creature you hit on each of your turns. So if you're hitting with an attack of opportunity, this also triggers, just like sneak attack for a rogue triggers on an attack of opportunity because it's a new turn separate from your own turn. This one will also trigger on attack of opportunity. So there's a possibility of triggering this twice if you're doing cool stuff. If you have some Polar Mastery Sentinel shenanigans going on, this will actually help you trigger this attack multiple times. So by no ways is this a bad ability, but it is just more damage. At least it's magical damage, so it pierces most immunities. You also get Warrior of the Gods, a very simple ability. If somebody's trying to resurrect you with that type of resurrection spell, they don't need to pay the material components. Your god is so satisfied with your work that they just want you to be alive again to continue thrashing about and killing stuff. The cleric is going to love you when you die. Wait a minute. This is weird, but that's part of the Zealot gig. Some of the abilities kind of count on you dying, and that's a bit weird. Fanatical Focus at level 6, actually a really good defensive ability while you're raging, and only once each rage, but that's not really a problem once each rage. You can reroll a saving throw that you failed, but you have to use the new roll. So once per rage, I mean, let's take a decent amount here. At level 8, you have 4 rages per day. So that's 4 times per day that you can reroll a saving throw that you failed. That is nowhere near bad. It's a good defensive ability against spells that you might be weak against, like Mind Control. Every Barbarian's weak point is Mind Control. So this is good to stave off those abilities. Obviously at level 20, you have unlimited rages, so this is fun then. Level 20 is always fun, especially for barbarians. Level 10, Zealous Presence. I really love this ability. It is something that 5e has too little of, and those are battle shouts. This barbarian can, as a bonus action, shout. The shout is infused with divine energy, and 10 friendly creatures in an area up to 60 feet around you have advantage on all their attacks, rolls, and saving throws until the start of your next turn. And that is downright amazing. I mean, you shout "Brav" and everybody has advantage. The fighter would have advantage on all 15,000 of his attacks. It would be the ideal action moment for him to pop action search and go bananas. Casters can benefit from this if they have attack rolls with their spells. Rogues are gonna love this. Martial people will adore you. Enemies tossing a nasty spell at you, saving throw has advantage. The downside, you can only use this once per long rest, and I think that's just bonkers. I would have made it at least twice. I think it's too powerful to be proficiency per long rest, because that would be like at level 5 3 times a day, and that's pretty strong actually. But more than once, 2 times, I mean, this is a level 10 ability, right? So 2 times, maybe even 3 times would be nice at level 10 for an entire day, you know. And then your last one, Rage Beyond Death. This is where the too angry to die meme comes from. If you have 0 hit points but you're raging, you don't fall unconscious. You still have to roll that saving throws. You follow all the rules for taking damage as if you were unconscious and dying, but you just don't. As long as you're raging, you don't die due to failed saving throws either. You do die if there's the rule that you die instantly if you take more than half your damage of half your life in damage instantly while you're at 0 hit points. But that's very hard to do on a raging barbarian. You're taking half damage from physical sources, and you have the largest hit pool in the game, so you don't usually run that risk. But if you would die due to saving throws, you don't die until your rage ends. You're too angry to die. And even if the rage ends, if you have gained at least 1 hit point before the rage ends, you'll be fine. You'll survive. So level 1 healing word, go. Good berry, good, perfect. Anything else? A health potion, I don't care. Anything, as long as you're not on 0 hit points until when the rage ends, you survive death. And that's pretty cool, but also pretty lame, because this is a capstone ability that is only good when you're dead, or when you are on the point of dying, and you should not be dying. The stuff should be done to prevent you from dying. Of course, this means that your barbarian just won't care about hit points. I'm raging, I still got 8 turns on my rage. Hickety hackety, kill the dragon, as long as the cleric has my back. But I do prefer abilities that do cool stuff while I'm alive. But if this pops, if this goes off, you will feel incredibly powerful. You'll be like, F you, DM, I'm just gonna continue playing even though I should be against the ground rolling for my dear life. And that is the Zealot Barbarian. Is this the best subclass? No. Is this a nice subclass? Yes, the extra damage is pretty good and will scale decently. The Battle Shout is good, even though very limited in use. The saving throw stuff is good. The Rage Beyond Death thing is weird, but not bad. Like, this is a solid barbarian class. And I think the idea, just the pure idea, as I said it 5 times already, of being too angry to die is a fun idea to play around with. So, good stuff on the Zealot. On to the last one, the Path of Wild Magic. And then we come to my favorite barbarian subclass, the Path of Wild Magic. These are barbarians that for some reason got infused with unpredictable magic. They have their own little table to roll on. It's not the wild sorcerer table. There's no fireballs to the face here. They're all fun effects that enhance your rage. It's a table with 8 effects. 7 of the 8 effects enhance your entire rage. Those are usually pretty good effects, ranging from a teleport to being able to summon a little spirit that explodes every turn, to being able to blind an enemy every turn, creating difficult terrain for enemies, buffing everybody around you with extra armor class. There's a lot of good stuff. The lesser effect is the one where you explode and you can hit a lot of things with tentacles. That's actually really good. You gain a little bit of temporary hit points, but it only happens once. That's not an entire rage effect. And since none of the damage things in this table scales, like 1d12 against a very big dragon, that's 1d12, right? Whereas the other effects are continuous for your entire rage and allow for some cool plays. The teleport is amazing. My personal favorite one, it's not the best one, but I really like it, is that one of the weapons that you're wielding becomes light and thrown. So even your great axe kind of like, whee, I toss it out. And even better, at the end of any turn, it comes back to you. So you can, if you have 2 attacks, for example, you smack one guy, you throw your giant axe to the next, and it just comes back to allow you to smack something again with your attack of opportunity anytime soon or in the next turn. That's a lot of fun, and theoretically it allows you to dual wield a great axe with a short sword or whatever for more hacky slashy entertainment. Is this something you can count on? No, because that is the nature of this table. You roll on it when your rage begins. You do not know what you are getting, right? And certainly in the early levels, this is going to be something that you cannot count on. There will be an effect. It will quite probably be useful, but you don't know what you're getting. But then we go on to one of the reasons that I love this path so much. It's bolstering magic at level 6. The Barbarian actually gets some party utility here. There's 2 things that you can do with bolstering magic. You always have to touch someone, and then either they gain mini bless. Mini bless is what I call this. Basically, they can add a d3 to every attack and a roll and ability check they do for the next 10 minutes, which is not bad at all. You don't have a d3, obviously, but you can take a d6, and like 1 and 2 are 1, 3 and 4 are 2, 5 and 6 are 3. That makes sense. Yes, of course it does. And the second option is that you roll a d3, again, same rules, and the creature regains 1 expended spell slot of that level or lower. So here you are, blessing people or restoring spell slots. Here we have a Barbarian who has a 30% chance of restoring a haste spell slot or a lightning bolt or fireball spell slot to one of his friends at level 6. That is actually pretty good. You can do these actions, again, a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, reset on a long rest, and you can do them all at once. So at level 5, your level 6, your proficiency bonus should be 3. You can touch 3 creatures and they each get mini bless for 10 minutes. It's not like a lot of other effects that it stops if you recast it. I love this ability, period. It's not overpowered. It's nice to have. Having an extra dice to roll on an attack roll scales. It never gets bad since your proficiency bonus scales. Well, the math behind the game, period, is such that this remains a consistent ability throughout the game. Having potential 15% extra to hit is always going to be a potential 15% extra to hit. This doesn't get any worse. It's 5 to 15%. Being able to restore a spell slot is always going to be fun as well. Next one is a bit random. The level 10 one can be really good, I guess. When you get damaged or you fail a saving throw while raging, you can use your reaction to reroll on the wild magic table, activates the effect that you roll, and this effect will also replace your active effect. So that can be a lot of fun, and there can be a lot of things happening, and this is where the first one becomes better. I talked about the first one, the first effect with the tentacles that erupt all over the place. If you, for some reason, roll this a few times during combat, that's a lot of d12s exploding in every enemy's face, and then this ability becomes good. And sometimes you might not want to do it because you have the perfect ability and you don't want to swap around. But I can imagine it's fun to swap around. It might give you new options. Combat might have changed and the ability that you rolled, which was actually useful, is now less useful. This allows you to shift through your magic table more often. And then at level 14 there's Control Surge. When you roll on your wild magic table, you can roll twice and pick the number that you want. Nice, innit? Oh, and if you roll the same number twice, you get to pick which effect you take. So this gives you more control over your wild magic table. Is this an amazing capstone ability? No. Does it give you more control over those 8 random abilities that you have? Yes, because don't forget, every time you take damage, you're allowed to roll. And now you're rolling a lot of dice for control over abilities that you want. Is this the best Barbarian subclass? No, because the damage doesn't scale that good. Does it have a lot of utility? Yes. This is, to me, a very strong Barbarian subclass, but it's unpredictable. But I like it. I'll take it. And there we are, my dear people. Those are all the things that I wanted to say about barbarians for now in general, and these subclasses in specific. So I'll be compiling my Master Barbarian playlist, and while I'm doing that, I'll also be hoping that I'll see you all again in 2 weeks in the Attic Dungeon.